Good day, I'm Jasmine Iro with Midday News. The state owes the number one super limited over 180 million kina in rental areas as at June 2023. The super fund is calling on the state to meet its obligation and pay up, as per an agreement both parties reached late last year.
The state is yet to settle outstanding rent owed to the number one super limited. The rental areas comprises of 50 million accrued in 2023 and 58 million kina outstanding from several years prior to 2023, bringing the total to 108 million kina. State departments currently occupy NSL's Revenue House, Vulupindi House, Edatano House, Aupi Center and the Treasury Building in Port Moresby and NSL House in Lae. Last year, NSL and the state reached an agreement whereby the state would settle the remaining balance of its rental areas of 10 million kina in monthly installments. NSL in a statement said it is seeking payment of its outstanding rental areas after the state had failed to make payments for the months of February, March, April, May and June. The installment include 5 million kina per month to clear the outstanding accrued from prior years and 5 million kina to pay its current month's rental. The state has met the January 2023 installment but has since not made any further payments. Susan Oriape, TVWAN News.
The West New Britain Provincial Peace and Good Order Committee has unanimously agreed to extend the curfew that has been in effect in the province for the past 2 months. The curfew, which expired on Sunday, June the 25th, will now be extended for an additional 6 months. The committee, during an emergency meeting, also decided to extend the liquor restrictions that were imposed alongside the curfew. Governor Sasindran Muthuvela announced that 5 resolutions were passed. One of the resolutions called for the immediate allocation of 5 million kina from the Minister for Internal Security, Peter Siamalili Jr., to cover the outstanding expenses during the previous 2 months of curfew operations. The funding is deemed necessary to settle the financial commitments accumulated during that period. President of the Advancing PNG Women Leaders Network, Ruth Kisam, is concerned about the catastrophic violence that continues to impact several towns and cities, most notably the people of Hela Province. She shared that ongoing conflicts have caused immense suffering and instability, causing thousands to be internally displaced and threatening the lives and well-being of countless individuals in the region and having spillovers into nearby provinces and even the capital city as well. It is calling for immediate action be taken to address this grave situation. The Advancing PNG Women Leaders Network are showing concern and frustration over the catastrophic violence that continues to impact the lives of women and children, notably in Hela Province. APNGWLN President Ruth Kisam frustratingly wrote that the ongoing conflict is causing immense suffering and instability, leaving thousands internally displaced and threatening the lives and well-being of masses in the region, with spillovers into nearby provinces and even the capital city. The group has called for immediate action to address this grave situation. Kisam said, in such challenging times, dialogue emerges as a crucial tool for conflict resolution and peace building. Meaningful and inclusive dialogue has the potential to bridge divides, foster understanding, and create opportunities for lasting reconciliation. By encouraging all stakeholders to come together and engage in a constructive exchange of ideas and concerns. Through the APNGWL network, 22 Hela-based organizations are working in areas of peace building, health, education, women and youth and children. Although these organizational leaders are putting a stop to violence in the region, Hela parliamentarians have been silent. Member for Koroba, Kopiago, William Bando pointed this out in the last parliament sitting. Kisam said police ratio is the worst, with 1 police officer to 3,000 people. Kisam believes police manpower should be more than that in every province, complete with police stations in rural townships, which are becoming crime hotspots. Kisam further said the government must revoke the domestic terrorism clause of the criminal code and include crimes like kidnapping, murder, rape and guns on hire as acts of domestic terrorism. Lastly, the APNGWN president suggested pausing all other development agenda and have a 6-month nationwide implementation of a law and order strategy. Representing his people of a population of more than 90,000 at the 5th SME breakfast, Governor for Manus Province Charlie Benjamin says the government must swear to put an end to the reckless squandering and floundering of the country's endowments. Governor Benjamin says despite their predicaments, the people of Manus remain proud as their nothingness has made them strong and resilient in the face of many hardships and adversaries.
Tried our very best to finding solutions and attempted different pathways with minimal success. Nevertheless, despite our many predicaments, Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Ambassador, High Commissioners, and ladies and gentlemen, we remain proud. Our nothingness has made us strong and resilient in the face of many hardships and adversaries. We've openly and reservedly displayed our willingness to be solutions to challenges, not of our making.
In regional news, Australia's Deputy Prime Minister Richard Marles has suggested Australian troops and police might stay in Solomon Islands beyond this year. In a sign, the federal government could push for an enduring security presence in the Pacific island nation. Mr. Marles will land in Honiara later today for a 2-day visit where he'll hold talks with Prime Minister Manasseh Sogavare and meet Australian police and soldiers deployed there. Australian personnel may remain in the country past 2023 if needed for the Pacific Games. The Deputy Prime Minister said the relationship between Australia and Solomon Islands was improving. Internal police records of the fines handed out during Victoria's COVID lockdowns have raised serious questions about racial profiling. The data obtained through Freedom of Information requests suggests people of African and Middle Eastern appearance got 4 times as many COVID fines for breaking public health rules.
Enduring some of the longest lockdowns in the world.
That's 288 more.
That's 403 new cases, 723 new cases.
With harsh fines for breaking rules and tough police enforcement.
There are consequences. We said we would be increasing our enforcement. We are.
Leaving many Victorians on edge.
A lot of the areas I work in have a lot of young African communities that live there. They're areas where seeing uniformed officers is it feels like a daily occurrence for some of these young men.
The ABC has reviewed all 37,000 fines issued under COVID public health orders in 2020, released by Victoria Police through Freedom of Information. In most cases, police recorded the racial appearance of the offender. More than 20% of the fines went to people of African or Middle Eastern appearance. That suggests they were fined at a rate about 4 times greater than their share of the population. People of First Nations appearance got 2.5% of the fines, but they make up just 1% of the state's population.
What we see in Victoria Police's own data is these patterns of disproportionate policing being applied.
This review by Dr. Tamara Hopkins looked at the different categories of fines, those for not wearing a mask and other breaches. But in cases where police were required to question an offender, she found people of African and Middle Eastern appearance were overrepresented. Victoria Police declined to be interviewed, but says any suggestion that officers targeted specific ethnic groups is false. The agency says it followed the health directions and that officers were routinely reminded to take a consistent approach. With tens of thousands of fines still unpaid, the impacts of the lockdowns still linger on.
The boom in artificial intelligence is driving up tech stocks. 7 companies have emerged as the biggest winners and have been dubbed the Magnificent Seven. Anyone with superannuation is likely enjoying this rally.
The $1 Trillion Club getting a new member today.
The VIP tech club, once known as the FANG stocks, has become the Magnificent Seven. And its newest member, Nvidia, is driving the hype.
If we take the largest 7 companies, which includes Nvidia, but also Amazon, Tesla, Google, Microsoft, Apple and so on, they're up collectively 50% year to date.
It's really being driven by, this almost frenzy into AI.
Nvidia's stock price has surged about 200% since the start of this year. The company makes graphics processing units known as GPUs that power artificial intelligence like ChatGPT.
So Nvidia released a chip called the H100, and large buyers such as Amazon, for example, are buying these chips in the tens of thousands, and that has increased revenue for Nvidia substantially.
The Magnificent Seven stocks have been swept up in the wave as investors look to capitalise on the growing popularity of AI.
You look at anything outside of AI, it looks like the market's saying we're in a recession.
The US stock market is a world away from Australia, but anyone with a superannuation fund is likely benefiting from this rally because our super funds invest in US shares. But analysts say worsening economic conditions could weigh on the Magnificent Seven.
I don't see how the second half of the year for those 7 stocks can be the same as the first half.
So investors, beware.
In sports, Team PNG to the Special Olympics in Berlin, Germany, have completed the campaign with exceptional results. They are returning home at the moment. The team of 8 have expressed gratitude to sponsors and individuals who donated in cash and kind, and those working behind the scenes to make the experience for the athletes. In the mixed doubles badminton competitors, Emmanuel Sevara and Martha Awong won silver medals after going down to their Chinese opponents in the final showdown. Martha also went on to win a bronze medal in the women's singles in her division. Samantha Mayasa won a silver medal in the 200-meter finals in a time of 33.70 seconds. She finished strongly behind Bahrain, who won the gold, and Germany, who won bronze. Samantha also finished 4th in the women's 100-meter finals in 16.12 seconds. Shot put sensation Grace Dindilo won a bronze medal in shot put. Broncos fullback Reece Walsh has been suspended for 3 matches after he was found guilty by the NRL judiciary on Tuesday of contrary conduct towards a match official. In a highly emotional marathon hearing spanning over 4 hours, Walsh was found guilty by a panel involving members, Judiciary Chairman Justice Geoffrey Ballou, Tony Puletua, and Sean Hampstead, of contrary conduct involving referee Chris Butler during Brisbane's round 17 match against the Titans. As a result of the 3-match suspension, he will miss Brisbane's upcoming clash against the Dolphins and is also ineligible for selection for the Maroons game in 3 of 2023 Ample State of Origin series to be played on July the 12th. And that ends the midday news. More to come at 6 this evening.